So now we have a bit of vocabulary to review. I think some of these terms may be familiar already to you. Some might be new, so let's go over these. The first one is, the first three are all triangles. Scalene triangle, isosceles triangle, and equilateral triangle. So a scalene triangle, and if you want to follow me along in page 397, you can. A scalene triangle is a triangle such as this one, in which all the sides are of different length. Okay, so if you notice, this side has a different length from this side, has a different length from this side. That's what a scalene triangle is. Three sides all of different length. We could represent this if we wanted by drawing one line through one side, two lines through another side, and three lines through the third side. That's sort of saying that all the three measurements are different. The next question is about isosceles triangle, the vocabulary of isosceles triangle. Let's take a look at a picture of an isosceles triangle. That would be number 5 on page 397. So this is an isosceles triangle. And according to this diagram, you can see that in an isosceles triangle, 2 of the 3 sides have equal measure. So here we've got this side and this side, both with one notch in them, to show that 2 out of 3 of the sides have equal measure. And then finally, an equilateral triangle, on page 397, right next to isosceles triangle, is a triangle where all 3 of the sides have notches, the same notch. So all 3 of the sides are equal. The lengths of all 3 sides are equal in an equilateral triangle. Okay, good. Next vocabulary word is rectangle. I think most people have seen a rectangle, but just in case you've not seen one before, you're not quite sure what it is. A rectangle is a quadrilateral, so it is a 4-sided figure, and it is a 4-sided figure in which all 4 angles are right angles. So let's take a look at this figure right here, and we've got actually 2 rectangles side by side surrounding a point P, and you can see that each rectangle has 4 sides, and each of the angles at each of the vertices of the rectangle is a right angle. So we could write in right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. Note that in a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent, but all 4 sides are not necessarily equal. So this and this side are the same, but they could be a different length than this and this side, which are also the same. A parallelogram is one of the figures you might not have seen before. So in case you haven't seen it, I will show you a picture of it. The definition of a parallelogram is a quadrilateral or a 4-sided figure in which opposite sides are parallel to each other. So on page 396, this is a picture of a parallelogram. This is your workbook. And what's important here to note is that we've got a quadrilateral. We have a 4-sided figure. And that the top and the bottom are parallel to each other. We sometimes represent that with an arrow like such, showing that they go on forever, they do not intersect. And the left and the right sides are also parallel to each other. But since the top and the bottom's direction is different from the left and the right, just like we use 1 notch and 2 notches, we can use 1 arrow for one direction of the parallel lines and 2 arrows for the other direction of the parallel lines. So again, opposite sides are parallel, and these angles are not necessarily right angles. In this case, they definitely do not appear to be right angles. So you do not necessarily have right angles in a parallelogram. And finally, a square is a rectangle, but it's a special type of a rectangle. It's a rectangle where all 4 sides are congruent. So this is a picture of a square, again on page 397 of your workbook. This is what a square looks like, and I think everybody here has seen a square and knows what it is.